Hello YouTubers, I wanted to talk to you about something intensely personal, and that is the flood. The flood that changed our lives forever, and many other people's, here in Pendleton, Oregon. We have a river that runs through here called the Umatilla River, and during the summertime the daytime flow is oftentimes less than 100 cubic feet a second. Not very much. And a good spring flow might be 700, 800, something like that. Maybe 1,000. And what happened is we had a large snowpack that formed up in the mountains. And I mean, it had snowed and snowed and snowed. It built up a huge snowpack. And then we had increasing temperatures that were extremely warm and rain on top of it up there. And the snowpack literally just came off the mountains all at once and down the river. It was a historical flood. Now, I cannot find anyone alive that remembers the river being any higher than what it was that day, those 2 days. The mayor of the city says it was the worst it's been in over 100 years. But there's a lot of people that say it was more like a 500-year flood. I tend to agree. Anyway, it started off. I knew it was warm outside and everything, and I looked at my phone, the Bureau of Reclamation page, where I can look up the river flows. I noticed it had spiked, and I was showing the guys at work. I said, oh yeah, look at this, you know, and it spiked, went almost straight up from, it was like less than 1,000 to 6,000 some cubic feet a second, which is a really fast increase. I was hoping, of course, that would be just about the end of it, but it wasn't. By the time I got off work, I clocked out, and this lady that I work with, who lives in the trailer park where I live, she said, yeah, they're evacuating the trailer park. There's water in the park. Well, I pictured a few inches of water. I didn't realize the scope of what I was about to see. Checked my phone for any messages, and there was one from my friend. He said my wife had called him, and she had evacuated the trailer park because water was coming in to the park, and I should get down there and move the red car, the old Pontiac. And she forgot, she left the dog down there. So I was definitely going to get down there and rescue the dog and move the car. When I got off work and drove past here, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The water was all up in here. Water was up in here. I'd never seen it up here in here before. You can still kind of see where it was. See the huge gravel bar created over there. Trees over there knocked down. Now the water was all up in here. I would have been underwater if I was standing in it at that time. You can see by the mud, water flow. It's going through here. Right now there's a pretty good flow for the river. During summer this would decrease a lot. But it was dark brown. It looked like milk. It looked like chocolate milk. That's what it looked like. And so it just appeared angry. That's how, the only way I can put it was angry. Just wreaking havoc, tearing everything up. They've washed out this road that went around the Babe Ruth baseball park, washed out the fence, and was in the park. And when I got out here towards Riverside, came around the corner, was ready to go under the railroad bridge, I couldn't believe what I saw. Everything was water. All I could see was water. That's all I could see was the river. The river was almost up to the bridge. It looked like someone had put a trailer park in the middle of the river. I wasn't thinking clearly. If I'd thought about it, I would have turned the camera on and put on my hat with the camera and started rolling. But the flood so rattled me, it was hard to think clearly. I'd never seen anything like it. You know, I went to get the dog. The water was from mid-thigh to waist deep, depending on where you were standing. And there was a current I had to fight to get to the house. And the water was cold. It was between 37 and 38 degrees. I got that information off the Bureau of Reclamation page. And when I got to the house, of course the water wasn't in the house yet. Power was still on. I went in the house, grabbed the dog. The dog was in his transport thing, his carrier, on the floor. And I grabbed my personal computer, which was sitting on the floor, and I grabbed one change of clothes, and then I got back out. After I grabbed the dog, my personal computer, and one change of clothes, I rushed back out. And the water looked like it went up about 2 more inches just in that time. And walking back into the water, it was really cold. It was between 37 and 38 degrees, and there was a strong current. This time behind me, I didn't know if any debris was going to hit me from behind. I had to hold everything up above the water, not knowing how fast it was going to go up. It was one of the scariest experiences I've ever had. And the dog was freaking out because all the water all around. I was holding it in its pet carrier above the water. And the dog was scared. Scared enough that it soiled its pet carrier. My feet were numb. I couldn't feel my feet. My legs were cold. They were hard to work. And one thing I found out I didn't even think about was I had this electrical cord laying out on the ground that was plugged in that I used to plug my pickup in the morning to warm it up. And which seemed weird, you know. I didn't think about it at the time. Didn't even cross my mind. And but what really blew my mind was how long the power actually stayed on. The floodwaters continued to increase to they were well in the house, and they were deep enough in the house they were above the electrical outlets, and yet the power was still on. It didn't short out. The reason I know this is because our dish receiver was left on, and we'd had stuff programmed to record on the DVR, and it did record right into and past when the water crested. So I don't think the power was off until the electric company actually disconnected power from the trailer park. which seemed weird because it seemed like it should have shorted out. But I think maybe there were so many pollutants in the water, so much silt and everything, maybe there was enough to where it wouldn't conduct electricity very well. Going the other way, distilled water won't conduct electricity. That's why you use it for a battery. It's the impurities in water that make it conduct well. But maybe there were too many impurities. Speculation, of course. Or someone could say, the hand of God created a miracle that kept me from getting shocked when I walked past the cord. I don't think that was it, though. I think it was probably had to do with how dirty the water was. Or maybe it was just out of range of the electricity. But you can see in the photograph that the electrical cord actually moved. I kept it to the left side of the sidewalk as I was facing the trailer. But the current moved it, along with my pressure washer, it knocked it down. Still trying to get it started.